See, that's assuming that people want the houses that you're saying they're going to construct. Do people want more single family homes, or people want more townhomes? And then do they want the homes that people are designing? It all depends on the area. If you live in Maryland, look, they still building out here and the prices are still going up. There's a whole bunch of land here in Maryland. That might not be where you want to live at. Right, they're now going down in Charles County, and then is it Frederick County, but out into the Western Maryland, past Howard County, and west of Baltimore County. There's still places to build. I mean, who knows what land is available across the Bay Bridge? Because like nobody, we don't care that much about that part of Maryland. Shout out to the Bay Bridge and Eastern Shore, but there's still places as far as where land is highly available, not readily, but highly available. People just don't want to live there, partly because they've yet to build houses out there. / that means there's nowhere for these businesses to have people come and spend money on them. So one could say, all right, let's build some houses out here, start building businesses out here, and we can just stretch out, and then we can make places less dense and things like that. But, people still want to live in these major cities. That just kind of is what it is. I think for people who don't live in not just a major city, but one of the major cities, meaning you don't live in the Washington, D.C., Baltimore metropolitan area. You don't live in somewhere like, Miami or New York, Boston, Chicago, L.A., right, San Fran. One of the top places that would be considered like the 24-hour type of cities, you don't have the ultimate perspective. There are places like Charlotte, like Detroit, Atlanta, one of the major popular cities, Houston, right? I mean, a lot of cities, but if you're not living in the top places like that, you're not there yet. And understanding just how busy, how much stuff costs, how competitive it is, even though stuff is, due to the internet technology now, remote work, stuff is competitive on a global landscape. But just when we're seeing like, we need more land and building regulations, stuff is not going down here in Maryland. Stuff is continuously going up. I don't know. I don't care what any chart says if we've had some decline. Prices are continuing to go up across the board. And now gas is continuing to go up as well, which sucks. They're starting to get to $4 on regular. It's like, what is happening? Filling my wife's tank. And I'm like, maybe we should start walking. All right. Yeah, I mean, build houses that people want. All right, then there's a proper planning on make sure you have enough children, because a lot of times people buy a house and then they outgrow the house as far as population wise. We have a growing economy, we have a growing population. Speaking of growing population, I don't read these articles at a time. As your population grows, you have to build more housing to accommodate the growth and population. True, but housing apartments are housing too, right? And people have rental homes. We can talk about how all these institutions now buying rental homes, buying more than individuals, right? I mean, there's all these different type of factors right now. To increase housing supply, local policymakers would need to lower the barriers for builders by easing land use and zoning regulations. Yeah, my wife and I looked at some land, and these people weren't able to get to their house, so they made an exception for them to build a driveway, but their driveway went to the other piece of land, and the driveway is huge. So in short, they took like probably almost like half of the available land that isn't their land, but the county made an exception so that they could build a driveway because they weren't able to get to the house. It's like, oh my goodness, like why'd you let them build this house in the first place? There was no way to get to it. Anyways, yes, get zoning and land use regulations, get all that type of stuff, which determine factors like maximum height of a building or the minimum size of a lot, right? Jackson said, for example, some local areas may say you can't construct buildings more than 3 stories high in a particular area, which means high-rise buildings that could house about 100 people are out of the question. See, we're talking about apartments here. Only no more than 3 stories. What is 3 stories? Look, they got 3 stories is nothing. All right, I mean, again, it's easier to go vertical than horizontal. I mean, there's only so much land to go horizontal on. Instead, you have to have a house that maybe has 5 people, Jackson said. The more supply you have helps keep prices down. So the more housing that you make available, the more that's going to sort of ease price pressures. See, the assumption is that the more housing is going to keep prices down if the people who are building and making money off of the sale of these houses, or people who are buying these houses, these new houses, and choosing to rent them, aren't asking for more money. Like you can't. The one thing with economics is you can't force people to set prices. The capitalist economy, capitalism is supposed to help you with that. But if people want to set crazy prices, they set that. And housing is a necessity as far as only so much land. And people can go crazy, as we've seen with the panorama, when it comes to buying houses. House fever is insane in America. While increasing the housing density in an area can boost affordability, land use and zoning regulations, which inherently determine determines an area's housing supply is often decided at a local. As I don't read these articles ahead of time. See, you don't need to be an economist that works with people to tell you these things. You can just listen to me and I'll tell you these things. Anyways, if you really wanted to expand the housing supply, okay, we keep saying this. One of the most immediate ways one could do that would be ease of on, okay, zoning on regular restrictions, right? But wouldn't that make things possibly more competitive, thus driving up the price? So that's the one thing we don't talk about is, never mind, because there might be pent up demand, and then also if the price of the goods to build these houses is not going down. I mean, look, these construction companies that are building these houses need to make a profit so they continue to stay in business and make more houses. All right, and shout out to inflation. Stuff doesn't get cheaper over time. All right, and allow construction of affordable housing areas that currently would not be allowed under local land use rules. See, affordable housing in areas would be based off of how much money people make in that general area, but that might not be enough money for that construction company to turn a profit. Gentrification. That's the part. If the average income is, let's just say, 75,000 in this area, but for the construction company to make money in this area where people make on average 75,000, they need people to make 100,000. What did you think? What's about you think about to happen? I mean, that's a small way to summarize, gentrification, a poor way. But I mean, it's like, look, we need to make money, so this is what the price is. I mean, we want to stay in business. Remember, you're more important than everybody else. I feel like people tend to forget that sometimes. Some areas have already begun to see a boom, right? New housing inventory due to relaxed zoning rules. Markets that allow builders to make smaller attached homes as opposed to detached single family housing are seeing a surge in new construction like markets in the South. Yeah, but you don't want to create a situation where you make all these homes that people can't put families in. Even if, townhomes, you can still have a family in. We don't want to make it so it's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath or 2-bedroom, 2 bath. Like that, you can't put a family in a 2-bedroom. You can only have 1 kid then. And with so many people having remote work jobs, people are looking to have either that extra basement space or that extra quote unquote office or room, right? So if you got a family of 4, now sure you might need a 4 or 5-bedroom because both parents are work from home now. Some people don't want their kids to, go to school, right? So now you might need some space to teach your kids as far as a homeschool perspective. There's all these other factors than just, build more houses. All right, markets that have more restrictive land use regulations, zoning rules are markets where you're not seeing the type of new construction necessary to keep up with demand. Okay. While local zoning rules are not under the federal government's control, as I've already said this before, that administration is working toward local areas to be more flexible by providing financial incentives. Okay, yes, to give money to help developers build more affordable housing. We have a growing economy. Okay, we already read that quote. All right, y'all. That's it. Locked and loaded. End of the episode. Again, home buyers need to earn 80% more than in 2020 to afford a house in this market. It's not just due to high mortgage rates. Yeah, they didn't even talk about mortgage rates on here. I want to be very clear. Necessities, debt payments, investments, lifestyle. When it comes to buying a house, it just costs what it costs. We can't say that we need to make it so the builders, these construction companies that are building these houses, they have a bottom line and they need to get a certain amount of money out of these houses that they're building. And that equates to a certain income for people, right? Or they can, people can not qualify from it. When I say qualify, not from a loan perspective, but they might not meet the income threshold in my $75,000, $100,000 equation, but they can save up enough money if you're making $75,000 and put enough money down to lower that payment. Right. So you're still giving the construction company the same amount of money, but, you just have more saved up. Right. You're not going to be able to qualify for the loan because, you don't make a high enough income for it. There are many factors that millennials and Gen Z are dealing with. Even some people in Gen X who are trying to buy, their second home, or baby boomers are trying to buy, when I say their quote unquote, their forever home, but their retirement home. There's still so many factors that come into play. Schooling. Where people schools are crazy, not like just from a homeschool perspective, but like safety in schools, right? Where people want to go to. Like I said, the stuff that's around those various areas. There's so many things that people look for now when they're buying a home or looking to get into real estate. But again, think about on social media how much getting into real estate was popularized during the panorama. So if we have more people who own, right, as far as landlords, there's going to be less people who are going to be able to own, as their primary residence. That's just how that works until if there's a shortage, right? Then all the institutional investors came in, right? So in short, if there was a big promotion of, hey, we need a whole bunch of people to become landlords, right? To buy homes and townhomes, duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, whatever it is, to rent out to people without building homes for those people eventually to stop renting and go buy. Well, yeah, there's going to be a significant shortage and prices are going to go up, right? Because rent goes up over time. Your mortgage payment is going to be fixed as far as the principal, interest, taxes, insurance go up. You get the 100% PNT, right? You're going to be a veteran and get, not worry about paying property tax no more. Another conversation for another day. But those are these factors that weren't mentioned in this article. All right. But that's it, y'all. Locked and loaded. End of the episode. Make sure you comment, like, share, and subscribe. Shout out to the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you leave those rating reviews on the podcast platforms as well. My information, as well as my coach Jordan information, can be found in the description. Jordan is Stop Stalling J on socials. His business page is finallyfit.live, where you can go to sign up for the virtual training sessions on Monday and Wednesday at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For myself, Silent_Corey, you can reach out to me for the financial coaching information. All right. That's it, y'all. Again, we're going to get into, so we're talking about, retirement, car payment, how much money people need to make from a housing standpoint. Now we're going to get into how much money does it actually cost? And that's what I've been saying for years now. Like, instead of, what all these various numbers are, how much you to invest, just accept how much it costs right now. People complaining about how high inflation is or how much stuff is increasing from an overall, just in general price standpoint, not even inflation, but just the straight up how much it costs out here to do stuff, how much it costs to go outside. And we're going to get into it from a family of 4 perspective in every state, a single person from every state, and then we're going to get into a single person in the top 25 major cities. I'm telling y'all, that number is closer to $250,000 than you think. In some places, when we get into family of 4, it's going to be probably over $250,000 in the higher states, because it just is what it is. And when you start breaking down these numbers, and when I start talking about, well, if you got to invest 15%, if you want to do a college fund, all these different type of things, I mean, most people who make over $250,000, $300,000, $400,000, they don't want, not that they should or shouldn't, but they don't want to be driving around here in a Honda, Toyota. They'd rather at least drive in the luxury version, the Acura, or the Lexus. I mean, these are conversations we need to have, but that's it, y'all. Locked and loaded. End of the episode. Remember to say more, say less. Keep making better your best. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.